Hey, Bhante. Let's do audio check.
Mr. Huriana, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah?
can hear. Yes. Good.
Okay.
Bhante, I'll see you on this weekend.
Oh, you'll be at the Pittsburgh Temple?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Hello, Anne in Florida. Kim
Unmute.
in
Okay.
Maine.
Is it raining there?
It was. It might be raining a little bit.
I'm
Can
in
you-
Winchester. I'm not in Florida.
Oh, that's right. How's your writing going? Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to be at your retreat at Bhavana coming up
Okay.
soon.
Oh, okay.
We've had rain here like all day.
Yeah, it was raining quite a bit, much of the day. Yeah. Today I took Ananda to the airport. He's flying back to India now.
Long journey.
Yeah. Okay, it's 7 o'clock now. So I think we'll go ahead and start. For those who like to join in reciting the Namo Tassa and the three refuges. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami. So friends, welcome to this evening Dhamma discussion and meditation practice. So I hope you're all able to receive the mailing I sent out on Monday with the link to the Mangala Sutta, Mahamangala Sutta, the discourse on blessings that we're going to go over this evening. Now, we've gone over that before sometime in the past, but it's very good to review these various suttas and Dhamma topics from time to time. So I'm going to share the screen for those who don't have it with them now, and hopefully this will work. I seem to always have this problem. I don't know what's. I don't know.
Share easily, or click that one, click that, then you can switch the tabs.
This one?
The bottom one? Yeah. Double click, yeah, that's it. Now, maybe the tab on the top, check the tab. The top of the browser, is there another tab?
Oh, there it is. All right. So this Mahamangala Sutta is a very well-known sutta. And it's basically, it explains the practice, the scope of the Dhamma practice, especially for lay people, starting with the basics of just living a good life, and then deepening one's Dhamma practice. And it's called the Discourse on Blessings. So the introduction to the sutta is interesting, that you can read that. When the night was far spent, a certain deity or a deva who have bodies that emit light and so on, came in front of the Buddha. I mean, these are invisible beings to normal people, human beings. They can't see devas, but because the Buddha had clairvoyant vision, he could see these deities that live in the various deva lokas, what are called deva lokas. They're sort of like heavens. You might see them if you believe in the idea, of angels in heavens. Then it could be something similar to that. So anyway, she drew near. Now, to be born in these deva lokas has required a lot of merits. Requires having been a good person, having done a lot of evil deeds in the past, and created merits to be born in these deva realms. So one of these came to the Buddha and then asked the Buddha that many deities and even women, human beings, have yearning after good, have pondered on blessings. Now, blessings are things that you do that bring good results. That means the merit, also called merits, to accumulate merits, blessings. Usually it's things that are done out of wholesome body, speech, and mind, out of practicing like sila, samadhi, and panya, but just, refraining from evil deeds and being a basically decent, good human being. So that's called getting blessings. And this is in contrast to demerits. So people that live their life, full of telling lies, slandering people, breaking precepts, not respecting people, kind of just following the adage of eat, drink, and be merry, and don't care about anybody else. This kind of life that a lot seem to have, they create a lot of demerit, especially breaking the precepts. So the 5 precepts. That's really sort of the line, you might say. People that follow the precepts are accumulating merits, and people that break the precepts are accumulating demerits. That means that lead to problems and suffering in their life, because the following the precepts is involved in the law of karma. So by doing actions based on greed, hatred, and delusion, breaking the precepts especially brings painful results, and practicing the precepts as well as practicing the meditation and practicing Dhamma brings at least reduces one's unskillful merits and are the sources of suffering, causes of suffering, and create sources of happiness. So this deity is asking the Buddha, pondering on these blessings. So the Buddha says not to associate with the foolish, but to associate with the wise, and to honor those who are worthy of honor. This is a great blessing, because the Buddha in many other discourses and in Dhammapada verse saying that one should not associate with foolish people because they'll drag them down. I mean, foolish people meaning people that are not interested in Dhamma and just interested in following their greed, hatred, and delusions, or just being a slave to their habits and addictions and other unskillful types of actions. So, but to associate with the wise, and the wise are people that follow the Dhamma. Usually it means people that are following at least some kind of Dharma practice. But in this case, who are practicing the Buddha Dhamma, the Eightfold Path, or Sila, Samadhi, and Panya, whatever way you want to call it, but practicing those elements of cultivating the mind. That is, if we hang out with those people, then that will rub off on us too. And to honor those who are worthy of honor. Now, a lot of people in this world don't want to honor people, but even in this country, we've honored people from the past, right? Like we build statues of Abraham Lincoln, or George Washington, or other people, right? Because they did great things. I mean, at least in a lot of people's minds. Everybody's going to get, of course, criticized and not liked because of people's views. But anyway, so people get honored by Nobel Prizes and so on. So, people that have done good things in the world help people. So anyway, these are great blessings because it will lead to our also accumulating merits and helping our practice of Dhamma. Then to reside in a suitable locality, to have done meritorious actions in the past, and to set oneself in the right direction. This is a great blessing. So, a suitable locality usually means a place where life is not too difficult and the basic requisites of life are able to be gotten. There's maybe not so much crime. People don't have to live in fear and or places that are fraught with wars and all kind of other kind of problems that are going to make people worry and have fear, and is not going to be able to help them to skillfully meditate and so on. So a suitable location. So normally places like being born in America are said to be suitable localities where life is pretty much kind of middle paths. And sure, there are poor people and there are rich people, but the majority of people are kind of following a middle class life, and they have, their life is, anyway, a suitable location where they have the ability to learn, go to school, get educated. They don't have to, worry too much. So, again, suitable location. And to have done meritorious actions in the past. And that means like having accumulated karma in the past. So, whatever a person's life is at the present moment, a lot of it is due to the karma that we've accumulated in the past. And if your life is not too much, fraught with, outright terrible suffering and problems, kind of an average person's life, then that means you had done some meritorious actions in the past. And the ability to continue to create merits, that means to set oneself in the right direction. That means get onto a practice of Dhamma, some kind of, that right course of action refers to basically a practice of Dhamma. And, for us, it's the following the Eightfold Path. So not everyone's able to do that. A lot of people in the world don't have all those things, right? You're born in certain countries where there's just abject poverty, and people have not an ability really to learn Dhamma or practice Dhamma because their life is fraught with all kind of problems. And maybe they don't have access to learn the Dhamma. If you were born in a communist country, for example, or some other place where, you had no access to libraries or to internet or learn Dhamma and so on. So, and it's a great blessing because not, probably less than half the people in the world have those kind of right conditions where you have access to learn the Dhamma and enough leisure time to practice meditation and to listen to Zoom programs every week. I mean, not everybody, can do that. So to have much learning and to be skilled in a handicraft, so that the Buddha praised, being educated, having a good education, and to be skilled in a handicraft. That means an occupation, especially that follows the right livelihood, where, you wouldn't be having to break the precepts directly or indirectly by, a job of that nature, that then you would have some, guilt, worry, remorse, and fear if you have to, have an occupation that causes you to lie and cheat and steal, harm others, and so on. So anyway, and to be of good speech. So this is a great blessing because there's a lot of wrong speech, as we can see in this day and age. All over the internet, and people are slandering others and cursing others, and there's a lot of negativity out there. So these first three are basically just learning how to have a good regular life and not to harm others, to support the mother and father, to cherish wife and children. Then this refers to, now if a person is going to choose that path of being a parent, to get married and then have a parent, that's a big karmic responsibility. You have to do it right, and especially the mother and father, they spend 18 or more years bringing you up to the best of their ability. They might not have been perfect, but still they sacrificed a lot, especially if you have these previous conditions. That means probably you had a fairly good upbringing. And when they get old, to support them if they need to. And when, then you're to support your spouse and the children and have a peaceful occupation. So this is the greatest blessing. That means if you've chosen that life of a householder, you need to do it so you don't have a lot of unfinished business. You didn't do it properly. So your kids or your spouses, don't like you or reject you, and I mean there's a cause for those things. But anyway, that's all part about the law of karma and so on. Everything we do in life, has an effect. So if we're going to take that path, then we need to do it in a good way and have children that you can be proud of. And now, like my own mother and father. Now, when I got into a lot of trouble, as you all know, my past, if you read my autobiography, when I was younger, they weren't very proud of that. They didn't tell anybody the problems I got into. Not going to repeat them here, but especially in overseas and so on. And but later on they did. But anyway, to be engaged in a peaceful occupation, this is a great blessing. To be generous, it means practicing the dana and sila. Basically, practicing dana and sila, being generous, practicing generosity, helping others in ways that you can, following the precepts, helping one's relatives, again, blameless actions. This is a great blessing because people get blamed all the time by their actions because they're unmindful actions. And so when you have blameless actions, and people won't blame you so much. Of course, everybody's going to get blamed in one way or another by certain people. To cease and abstain from evil actions. That means especially like the precepts, by practicing for the 5 precepts or even more precepts. To refrain from intoxicants, of course that's one of the precepts. Abstaining from intoxicating drinks and drugs causing heedlessness. And to be steadfast in virtuous practices, practicing the Dhamma. This is a great blessing. But because so many people are not able to do that for one reason or another. And their life reflects that because it causes so many problems to themselves and others. So that's why if we have these conditions, it's a great blessing. To be respectful and humble, content and grateful, and to listen to the Dhamma at the right time. This is a great blessing. To pay respects to people that we can learn from, and visiting. That's going to be mentioned in these blessings too. Visiting people and listening to the Dhamma. To be patient and obedient, to associate with monastics or other religious persons that you can have discussions with, and Dhamma talks on due occasions, people you can ask questions about the practice. This is a great blessing. And then self-restraint, living a life, a holy and chaste life that refers to maybe leading a monastic life, but it doesn't necessarily mean that, but it means, even lay persons can lead a good life. And, of course, meditating and perceiving the noble truths and the realization of Nibbana. So this is a great blessing, even though a lot of people have meditate and spend a lot of time meditating, they may not have all those other previous things to actually make, great progress on the path. But of course, whatever you do, practice that you do in this life, even if you may not enter the stream or any higher realizations, that won't be lost. But, if one is able to reach those higher levels of meditation and so on, that's one of the greatest blessings. In a mind unruffled by the changing natures of impermanence, and freed from sorrow, and staying and secure, having gained liberation. This is the greatest blessings. So those who abide thus remain ever invincible in happiness established. So anyway, all these different, these 38 blessings, if you care to count up all these different things that were mentioned, it comes to about 38. And it's good to reflect and ask yourself, do I have these kind of blessings? To one extent or another, people do have them, but can they be increased? Can one's practice be increased to even gain a greater blessings from them too? So this is that, and so lay people can follow these in lay life. This is how one. This is the Buddha's advice on how one can gradually make progress in the Dhamma. Okay, so and you all have this. Hopefully, you have this sutta in the link that I sent out, so you can look at it later if you haven't already, and you can read the notes that are given here on some of those things. Okay, so I'm going to now stop this sharing and see if any of you have any questions that you might like to ask about any of those. There's something in the chat. Let's see what's in there. Is this list progressive with the realization of Nibbana, the greatest blessing? Yes, this list, as you mentioned, is progressive, and as you practice the Dhamma, you want to modify maybe the way you live, where you live, for example. Let's say you didn't live in such a suitable location, but you heard about the Dhamma, and then you made strides to maybe change the location where you're living, if you need to, a place where you would have more contact with the Dhamma, and so on, and then maybe a place where if you didn't have access to learning more, or to go on retreats, or have, let's say, a sangha, for example, a place where you could go and meet, have Dhamma friends and have discussions, then that progressive, you would make the efforts to try to find those opportunities to increase your practice of Dhamma. So, and as you gain more and more understanding, then those conditions can be refined. You can practice the precepts even more. You can, do a lot of things. Practice more generosity, selfless helping out, and things to weaken your ego, things to overcome some of your unskillful old habits, and so on. So all of that is progressive, and it's commensurate with the amount of the experience of the inner peace as you gain in meditation. When you start to understand it, our peace of mind is directly associated with the way that we're living our life, and especially the precepts, and with speech and actions, and developing sila, samadhi, and panya. You see, is directly connected with that. You're not going to make progress without making effort in purifying, the different levels of sila, samadhi, and panya. So, yeah, all those things. That's the way, sila, samadhi, and panya, they keep on going around and mutually strengthening each other. The more sila you have, the better your samadhi will be. The better your samadhi becomes, the more you see you can tighten up your sila, clean up your sila a little bit more. And as your sila improves more, your ability to concentrate, overcome the hindrances improves. And as that improves, your wisdom even gets deeper. So, if you were stuck on just, some level of insights, it might improve the level of entering the stream. And, then even that is just a beginning. And then you got to practice more and more to reach progressive other levels. Okay. The Dhamma knowledge and meditation we receive in this life, we will remember in our next life. Hopefully. So can you explain how that will happen? Also, can I wish that I want to be born as a Buddhist in my next life? Yes, you can do that, but if you don't live like a Buddhist, you may not be reborn as a Buddhist. So, people think they're just going to wish that they can be born in a place, but you're born according to the karma. So just being like a lot of people, some Buddhists wish, I want to be born in a Devaloka. I want to be born, with Maitreya Buddha in the future. I want to be born in a certain Devaloka. Now, but you have to create the karma for it. There's karma, certain types of karma that will facilitate getting rebirths in these realms. And if we don't practice that, then just wishing that it's going to happen, it may not happen. So that's why it's, we have to, it's practicing the Eightfold Path, which is basically contains all those elements of Sila, Samadhi, and Panya, are the ways that we gain these and develop the ability to contact the Dhamma in a next life, because it's what you remember. These seeds of your knowledge and Panya, your mind, is the only thing you're taking with you in the next life. You can't take a Buddha statue with you in the next life, physically. You're going to take it in the mind. And if you can, but if you can't easily and readily attain the states of meditation, because look, the rebirth depends on basically the last thoughts in your mind at the time of death is going to have a determining factor about where the mind is going to be pulled when it leaves this body. So the more you can remember the Dhamma, the more you have Dhamma, instant recall, and if you can die with your mind, in a state of meditation, or, gazing at a Buddha image, or reciting Dhamma, that is going to probably be the most powerful thing. But of course, if you've done some really, really bad karma, then, then it's a crapshoot. It's not a guarantee. So, that's why just not waiting to practice Dhamma when you get older. The younger you start, and the younger you start, practicing Sila, overcoming, negative habits, the better off you're going to be. The Buddha emphasis is to end the cycle of birth and death in this life. His emphasis was on attaining at least stream entry. That's what his main emphasis was, is to attain stream entry, because he realized that not everyone is going to attain full enlightenment in this life. But he did very much emphasize attaining the stream entry, because then that means you're guaranteed to get more contact with the Dhamma in the next life. So that's one of the main criteria. But sure, he didn't advocate becoming on purpose, creating more becoming, but he was also realistic in that not everyone is going to attain arahantship in this life. So that's why, but doing as much as we can in this life, and especially trying to reach that level of the entering the stream where the mind cannot really fall backwards too much. That is what the Buddha really recommended. Yeah, so. Says this next question, how does this sutta compare with the Parabhava Sutta for lay people? Well, I'm not sure what the Parabhava Sutta is. I might have read it, but maybe the name, I'm not identifying it immediately in my mind. Maybe it's not spelled right. But the Buddha gave so many different suttas, depending on what kind of. So this deity asked the Buddha this question, right? So he preached this sutta based on this particular question that the Buddha had. Now, lay people came to him and asked questions as similar, and he might have said similar things. He might have said different things to them and advised them. There's one lay person, him and his wife, his man and woman were married for like 50, 60 years. They loved each other. And they asked the Buddha, we want to be born together again in the next life, can we do that? And he said, yeah, it could be possible. Normally he wouldn't recommend that to anybody, rather than it's better to attain enlightenment, but if he saw that people really wanted to do that, he said, that's the way to do it, he gave them advice on how to do that. Or to be born as a deva and so on. But generally, his advice would be to attain at least sotapanna. Because even a stream enter can be born in a deva loka, and make some progress on the path. Okay. So, did somebody, Parabhava Sutta? Anyway, I don't know. I'll have to look up the Parabhava Sutta. Udiana, you asked that question. Can you tell me what the Parabhava Sutta is?
Yes, it is for lay people what not to do, kind of. So this sutta is for blessing, right? It's a blessing to be able to do certain things. But this Parabhava Sutta is telling things you should abstain from.
Yeah, like negative actions, right? So following the precepts would probably be one of the main ones. So he mentions that in this sutta too.
Or yeah, it's one of the for lay people to how to guide a good life. Like it's telling how to live.
Yeah, well, this sutta is also telling people how to live too.
Yeah, they're kind of similar, but their approach,
Yeah,
as you said, they took
that's why there's hundreds and thousands of suttas, and they all have something in common. And they all, have a slightly different twist to different things, because the Buddha taught according to who was asking the questions or what his audience was.
right.
Okay. So anyway, you can read what this person has said about the Parabhava Sutta is pointing out the causes of downfall. But those downfalls are hanging out with, unskillful people, hanging out with, wrong friends, and not following the precepts, and so on. Okay, so does anybody now who are tuned into this program, does anybody have any additional question they might want to ask by raising your hand? Actually, there's somebody here in the room who's a visitor here to the Lion of Wisdom who has asked the question. So why don't you speak loudly so they might be able to hear you in this?
My question is about a stanza A mind unshaken when touched by the worldly states, sorrowless, stainless, and secure. This is the blessing supreme. So.
Okay, I'm just going to repeat your question if you couldn't hear it. The question is about the last stanza in the Mangala Sutta about what is this sorrowless, stainless, and secure, the meaning of that, I guess.
So when I see people being treated in unwholesome ways, I feel pain and sorrow. And then from this, I have sympathy and empathy for them. And then from that inspires me to change the worldly states. So my question is, does an enlightened person experience sympathy without sorrow? Or is sympathy skipped altogether and an enlightened person knows it's unwholesome and knows that these states need to be changed?
Well, of course, the Buddha was an example of that. The Buddha didn't suffer, but he had compassion for people suffering.
So there's sympathy without sorrow and pain.
Yes, that's why people, he told people the 60 arahants, the first few months or however long when the Buddha got enlightened, there was a 60 arahants, and he told them, go out in separate direction. Don't two of you go out in the same way. Go out for the weal and the welfare of all the beings, to teach the Dhamma, the good Dhamma, that's great in the beginning, great in the middle, and then great at the end. He told them out of compassion. But because they couldn't be tempted, they couldn't be pulled back into any old ways because they were beyond that by that time. And so that's why he, told them that to go out because of the compassion. Yeah.
Yes, it's really deep because it's hard for me to feel sympathy without a little bit of sorrow for the world or pain.
Well, that's because you haven't reached that state yet. And so, until we do, we're not going to be able to do that.
Oh, I have another question. Sorry, Bhante. Peaceful occupation. If somebody works at a restaurant and they're serving alcohol, is that considered peaceful occupation?
Well, that probably would fall under wrong livelihood. Serving alcohol to people probably wouldn't be considered a right livelihood. Because now how are you going to feel if that person took that drink and then went outside and then jumped in a car and they were, inebriated and they killed somebody, and you know that you had served them that drink? You probably would feel a little bit, not so good about that. So,
Thank you, Bhante.
yeah. Okay, there's another question in the chat box. The concepts of faith follower and Dhamma follower are mentioned in a few sutras as well, where these two types of practitioners are guaranteed to achieve stream entry in their life or at death. Yes. So that's a possibility. In this life, people have attained stages at the time of death. But it's because they would have been practiced and they were able to hold the Dhamma in their mind, and that entrance to death was kind of the goad that they needed to let go. It was like, they're at a life and death situation, right? So, but it's because they had that unshakable faith and followed the Dhamma, faith follower and Dhamma follower. I mean, it's just that, some people with great faith in the Buddha, they've attained, even without maybe not even having been a great meditator. There are some instances with people that with great faith had attained states of stream entry, or even once returning or never returning, such as, like, I think this Sariputta's mother or some other people like that, just having great faith. So anyway, so you read a lot of different things in the suttas, and people can argue about them and so on. But anyway, yes, so that's why the importance of being able to meditate, even when you're sick, even if you're sick and in pain, if you've practiced enough when you were free from pain and are able to hold that at the time of death, then your chances are probably going from slim to very, very good, that you will make some attainment at that moment of death. Because there's some instances of monks who actually committed suicide and they attained arhatship when their throat was being slit, and they attained arhatship. Now, it's probably hard to believe, but there are some stories in the sutras about that. And it's because these monks had already practiced, and it wasn't like, it was just, that was the little, just the edge that they needed to push the mind. Yeah. No, it was a now or never. Okay, friends, I think we might stop there with that. And so we'll then, take the advice of the Mangala Sutra and practice a little meditation, and try to develop our, mindfulness and concentration. Okay? Okay, we'll take a few minutes break. We'll meet back again. I'll see you again in a few minutes.
You're live.
It's gonna start.
That's what I was just thinking. It's not really, is it?
Yeah, I need more room.
No, that's good. I can do this. Maybe straighten it out a little bit. That's great, yeah. Yeah, just stand with your hands up. Oh, yeah, perfect.
Okay, friends, so try to stand straight. Relax your shoulders and arms at the sides. Just gently close your eyes. Feel your feet pressing the floor. Try to feel the height and the weight of the body over your feet. Feel your arms and hands hanging at the sides. Try to feel where the clothing touches your skin in different places. And feel your head balanced on top. And keep the chin lifted up level with the floor. Just gently close the eyes. Feel your eyes in the socket. From that point down the eyes, try to feel the outline of the standing body. Sense of the head on top, arms at the sides. Clothing touching the skin, feet pressing the floor. And then begin some deep, slow breathing. Try to take about 3 seconds to expand your abdomen, rib cage, and upper chest. Draw the air up into the upper chest. Feel that expansion. Hold the air in for 2 seconds. Then slowly breathe out. Feel the last bit of air go out of the lungs. Take a few more deep, slow breaths like that, developing this mindfulness of breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Hold the breath. Breathing out, standing here and now. Feel the last bit of air go out. Breathing in, letting go. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we're going to combine this breathing with these movements. We do the stretching while breathing in, holding that position for 2 seconds, keeping the breath in the lungs, and on the out breath, returning to the starting point on the out breath, repeating each one 3 times. So you can open the eyes and observe me as I lead you through it. So on the next in-breath, raise the arms over the head, interlock your fingers, turn the palms up, straighten your arms, stretch your head back, stretch upwards, feel the sensations. Release the fingers, the out breath, arms back to the sides, feel the air go out of the lungs. And again, in-breath. Stretch up, bend back a little bit. Feel the arch in the spine. Out breath. Arms back to the side. Feel the air go out. Once more. In. Stretch up. Bend back a little more. Hold that position a little longer. Feel the sensation. Out breath. Feel the air go out of the lungs. Relax. Keep feeling the body. Don't let the mind wander in thoughts. Feel the outline of the standing body. Just remind yourself of present moment of standing, standing. Just present moment, body-centered awareness. Just letting your thoughts come and go in the back of the mind. Just keep the outline of the standing body in the front of the awareness. On the next in-breath, lift up on the balls of the feet while raising the arms over the head in this way. Face the hands toward each other, about 6 inches apart, and stretch up. On the out-breath, come back down. Feel the air going out of the lungs as the arms come down. Use the in-breath to help lift up the body, like blowing up a helium balloon. Stretch out. Once more, in. Stretch. Out. Feel the sensations. Just relax. Close the eyes. Feel that increased aliveness of the body. The billions of cells, molecules vibrating, interacting. Due to the deep breathing and the stretching, activates cellular vibration. Remember standing, standing. Next we'll do side bending using both arms. On the in-breath, raise both arms up. And keep your fingers and arms straight, close to your head. On the out-breath, bend over the right side. Keep the arms parallel to each other. In-breath, lift up. Pause a moment. And the out-breath to the left side. Feel a stretch in the side. In-breath, lift up. Keep alternating sides with the breathing. Out-breath. In. Out. In. Once more to each side. Out breath, lower the arms. Close the eyes, keep feeling the body, increased pulsations, maybe increased heartbeat, any little itchy, scratchy sensation, or any little aches or pains. Try to hold that outline of the body in the mind's eye, as though you're looking into a mirror. Feel that mental outline, head on top, arms at the sides, feet pressing the floor, clothing touching the skin. Next, we'll do the knee bending or squatting. So on the in-breath, you can lift up on the balls of the feet while raising the arms up front for balance. On the out-breath, bend the knees and lower down. And balance on the balls of the feet. Come down as far as you comfortably can to the squatting position. And take a deep breath to feel the muscles in the legs pushing the body up on the toes. Out breath. In. Out. Hold that position a little longer. On the in-breath, lift up. Hold that a little longer. Out breath, relax. Feel the increased heartbeat, other pulsations, clothing touching the skin, any aches or pains. Just this body exactly as it is, here and now. Body-centered awareness. Just letting the thoughts come and go in the back of the mind. Keeping the vibrating body in the front of the awareness. Remember standing, standing. Okay, now spread the feet apart about 3 feet, the wider the better. Hold the arms out to the sides. We'll do the twisting, the lateral twisting on the spine. Breathe in. On the out breath, twist to the right. Let your feet turn a little bit. Keep your eyes focused on the hand going back. The in breath, come back to the front. And let the feet turn with the body, then twist to the other side. Out breath. In breath. Keep alternating sides with the breathing. Once more to each side. Lower the arms. Close the eyes. Feel each foot pressing the floor. Feel the clothing touching the skin. Present moment awareness. Now place the hands together at the chest. In breath, hands over the head. Out breath, hands to the chest, bend the knees, lower down, try to keep the back upright. Feel the stretch in your hips and knees. In breath, all the way up. Out breath, try to come down a little farther. In. Out. In. Out breath. Close the eyes. Keep feeling the body exactly as it is, each foot pressing the floor, hands and fingers at the sides, clothing touching the skin, any body movements, head balanced on top. The more the body and sensations you can notice, the less time for your mind to get lost in unnecessary thoughts. Now bring the legs back together. And standing straight, do the head turning from right to left. So in breath, head to the right. Look over your right shoulder. You have a stiff neck, just be careful. The out breath, turn all the way back to the left. Look over the left shoulder. In breath, right. Out left. Once more to each side. Let the head stop in the middle. Keep feeling the body. Now one last exercise, backward and forward bending. Just be careful with the back bend, don't bend back too far the first time. Turn the palms so they're facing outwards, so your little fingers touch together. On the in-breath, raise the arms up, level to your eyes, and begin spreading the arms out to the sides as you bend back on the out-breath. Carefully lift up on an in-breath, keeping the arms out at the sides, and on the out-breath, lowering the hands down towards the floor. Let the little bones in the lower spine stretch out, keep your legs straight. A downward stretch. And begin lifting up. Turn the palms outward. In breath, raise the hands up. Out breath, bend back. In breath, carefully lift up. Out breath, downward stretch. Try to come down a little more. Once more, in breath. Out. In. Out. Third time, try to hold a downward stretch a little longer. Let the little bones in the lower spine stretch out. Begin lifting up. On the in-breath, bring the hands together at the chest. Out-breath, hands to the sides. Feel the whole body vibrating, pulsating with activated life force. Activated life force means the electrons, atoms, they're the nucleus of all of our cells, charging them up, making them vibrate. So it keeps this body alive. Deep breathing and the movements help to spread that life force out to all parts of the body. And life force is also awareness. The more sensations we can feel, the more awareness you'll have. Okay, and now let's come back to our seats, get ready for the meditation, sitting. Get comfortable in sitting posture. So you're sitting straight, try to feel the natural inward curve of the lower lumbar spine. It helps to support the weight of the upper body. If you can, kind of try to imagine or feel the spinal column going up from the base of your spine up to the middle of your back, to join the base of your skull. Just feel your head balanced on top of the spinal column. Try to keep your chin lifted up level with the floor. Just gently close your eyes. Feel your eyes in the sockets. Feel the head balanced on top of the spinal column, like balancing a soccer ball on top of a stick. Try to mentally feel that outline of the body, the general sense of the head on top, the arms at the sides, hands touching together, buttocks pressing the floor, feet tucked underneath. Try to mentally feel that like this body was like a pyramid grounded in the earth. And then begin some deep, slow breathing, like we did in the yoga session. Take 2 or 3 seconds to expand your abdomen, rib cage, and upper chest, holding the air in for 2 seconds. And slowly breathe out, feeling the last bit of air go out. Just take several more deep breaths like that, cultivating this mindfulness of breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Hold the breath in a second. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Feel the last bit of air go out. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we're going to count the breaths from 1 to 10. Develop a more continuous concentration on the breathing. I'll do the counting for you. Just try to follow that with your breathing and concentration. Just letting go of your thought. So with the next expanding in breath, mentally count to 1. Hold the breath for a second. And with the contracting out breath, also count to 1. Feel the last bit of air go out. Next in breath, 2. Out breath, 2. In 3. Out 3. In 4. Out 4. In 5. Out 5. In 6. Out 6. In 7. Out 7. In 8. Out 8. In 9. Out 9. In 10. Out 10. As the last breath goes out, don't deliberately breathe in again, or a deep breath. Let there be a little pause, and let the breath come back in by itself without forcing it. Keep your attention focused on the subtler movements of the breathing. Continue to follow the expanding and contracting sensations of the shorter breaths. Just knowing when the breath is coming in and knowing when the breath is going out. You know it by feeling it, feeling those subtle sensations. Try to feel where the clothing rubs against the skin of your stomach, rib cage, your chest, that expands and contracts, creating those subtle sensations, friction sensation. Try to feel like being a scientist looking down through a microscope, observing an experiment. Just feeling all those different sensations of the breathing. Try to feel the whole in-breath from beginning to end, and the brief pause. Feel the whole out-breath from beginning to end, and the brief pause. Just over and over and over again. To help stay focused, you can use these brief mental reminders. In, sitting, out, out, sitting. It's the ongoing, continuous, present moment of this sitting, breathing body. In, sitting, out, out, sitting. Just letting go of your thoughts. Just let the thoughts come and go in the back of the mind. Just keep the sensations of the breathing body in the front of the awareness. Like looking into a mirror. Sort of just watching the body sitting and breathing. Not as a visual image, but as a collection of sensations. Constantly changing sensation. In, sitting. Out, out, sitting. Breath by breath, moment by moment. With each out breath, allowing the body and mind to relax more and more into the present moment. If you get yourself carried away in thoughts, recognize it as lost. Take a deep, slow breath. Bring the mind back into the body. Back to in, sitting. Out, sitting. During the pauses, the pauses between the breaths, check the posture, keep the back and the head in a straight line to maintain the inward curve of the lower spine. Feel that outline of the sitting body. Try to feel more and more sensation in the breathing body. Feel the breathing going on in the center, feeling the larger body around the breathing. So many different sensations. Clothing touching the skin, itchy, prickly sensations, any aches or pain. Just tuning into that organic aliveness of this breathing body. Being aware of the subtle stream of thoughts moving through the back of the mind, waiting for a chance to sneak in, steal your mind away. If the mind feels sluggish or too many thoughts, come back and take several deep, slow breaths to help reawaken, recenter the breathing body. in sitting, out, out, sitting, balancing concentration and mindfulness. Concentration is the ability to keep the breathing body in the front of the awareness. Mindfulness is being alert for any hindrances or any distractions trying to pull you away. Breathing in, sitting. Breathing out, sitting. So many different sensations coming and going. Pleasure and pain come and go. Perceptions, thoughts come and go. Thoughts of I, me, or mine come and go. These are all just a continuous flow of change and impermanence with the five aggregates, arising and vanishing, coming and going, this breathing body awareness. If you have good concentration and awareness, that flow of impermanence, just try to feel like being an empty house with nobody home to answer the call, knocking on the doors and windows. But there's a sensitive microphone in the house that knows awareness. It knows but doesn't know. Sabbe sankhara anicchati yada panyaya pasati atanibindati dukhi esamaggo visuddhya dukkha patacani dukkha bhayapatacani bhaya Sokapatacani sokha hontu sabbe pipanino. All conditioned things, the five aggregates of this body, mind, and world are impermanent. They arise only to briefly last and then vanish. When one sees this with the eye of wisdom, one becomes disenchanted with suffering. This is the path to freedom. And may the suffering be free from suffering. May the fear-struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. In this way, may all beings live with mindfulness and wisdom. Thus spoke the Buddha. Now I invite you to join in chanting the word sadhu 3 times slowly. We do that chanting on a long in-breath, on a long out-breath. Repeat it 3 times to feel those vibrations in the body and mind, present moment vibrations. So take a deep breath. Sadhu. Breathe. Sadhu. Breathe. Now place your hands at the edge of your knees. Take one more deep breath. On the in-breath, stretch your head back. Pull the hands against your knees to arch your spine. Look up at the ceiling and let out the breath. Breathe in, lift the head up, and on an out breath, press the chin to the top of the chest. Stretch the neck vertebrae. Lift the chin up level on an in-breath. Breathe out on the out-breath and put a smile on your face. Okay, friends. I hope you're able to have a fairly good meditation tonight. Get some better mindfulness, concentration, body-centered awareness. Get some insights. And count your blessings. Be able to at least do meditation practice. Try to keep up during the week. Keep your practice up by doing the M&Ms, the minutes of mindfulness every hour. Using the body as your anchor to the present moment. Okay? So until we meet again, be well, be peaceful, be safe, be wise, be mindful. Mindfulness a day keeps dukkha away. Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya. Thank you, Bhante.
Sadhu, Bhante. Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Bhante.
Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.